I'm Art Williams from St. Mary's in Charlotte, and my thesis statement is, we are called to love. I miss calls all the time. Sometimes it seems the privacy settings have a mind of their own. I don't like to miss calls from friends and people I know. It's much better to deal with a real person than a voicemail or a text message. There's an important call, though, that doesn't come in on any phone, smart or otherwise. How many of you remember that classic hymn, the one that starts, "Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me." Jesus is calling us patiently, tenderly, pleading for us to listen. Too often we don't. The demands of the day-to-day, our work, our family, our friends, these all get pretty loud and insistent. It's too easy to miss that still, small voice. Yet, it's a voice we cannot afford to miss. God calls us all the time. Today is the feast day of St. Matthias, who is also called. As we heard today in our readings from the Acts of the Apostles, he responded by following Jesus from the beginnings of the ministry. When Peter needed a substitute for Judas, Matthias stepped up and was chosen. As a replacement apostle, Matthias preached the gospel from Judea to Georgia and Ethiopia. We're all familiar with St. Paul. He was summoned so strongly that he was knocked off his feet to the ground to Damascus. He heeded that divine call, devoting the rest of his life to spreading the word of the Lord. In today's gospel, Jesus calls upon us to obey his commandments. He wants us to love each other. That's how we show we love the Lord. By showing our love for each other, he reaffirms his love for us, that we are his friends, chosen to bear fruit. To bear fruit. Let's explore that. To bear fruit can be as simple as producing positive results. It means the tree we've carefully cultivated is yielding delicious apples. It means the engine that we've tenderly tuned is running smoothly. It means that student that we've patiently tutored is stepping forward as a responsible citizen. What does it mean to bear fruit for Jesus? You know, he's pretty clear about this. We feed the hungry. We clothe the naked. We comfort the suffering. We are called to care. We are called to care not only for our friends and family, but for all in the family of humanity. When we care for others, we feed, we clothe, we comfort out of love. The commandment of today's gospel is to love one another. We are called to care. I know I've missed a lot of calls. For a long time, I thought it was enough to attend Mass every week and keep my nose out of trouble. I can't say I really hated anybody. I can't say that my circle of love really went beyond my wife, my family, and very few friends. That day-to-day stuff was real important. That's what I thought, at least. I missed a lot of calls from the Lord. But tenderly, patiently, Jesus was calling for me. That still small voice became louder and more insistent until I could ignore it no longer. Responding to that call has changed my life. What's your call? We are all called. We are all chosen. Some are called to holy orders, some to marriage, some to a life of lay devotion, some to service. There's a vocation out there with your name on it. Something God has waiting for you. How do you show your love for God and your fellow human beings? Well, there's something He wants you to do. Maybe it's feeding the hungry. You might help out St. Vincent de Paul food pantry. Maybe it's comforting the suffering. Folks are hurting all around us. Simply listening to those in distress, giving them your ear and your full attention. And for those of you who work outside the home, you see that need for love for people all around you. And in the way that you deal with them professionally and personally, you can show your love for them as well. We contribute. We volunteer. We donate our time, our talent, our treasures. We are called to love the Lord and to love each other. Think of the week ahead. Think of 3 things you can do to show your love for each other. You love the Lord. How can you show that love in your life? How can you respond to that tender and patient call from the risen Jesus? We are called to love. How will we respond?